Hey everybody, welcome to the first ever episode of Extra Adventures, where we talk about all things not Disney.
So, on today's episode, we're going to talk about the Orlando Informer event at Universal Studios Orlando, Florida, that we just attended last weekend. And we had the most amazing weekend.
Like, as in yesterday, we
Yeah,
just attended. We just got back home.
we just got off the plane. We are back home now. Um, so, first thoughts about the event.
Well, this was the first ever one in November, right?
I think so. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm kind of confused by it. But what the Orlando Informer event is each Orlando Informer meetup provides theme park fans the opportunity to experience them in a completely different way. We limit the number of tickets available for each evening to ensure that you have the ultimate experience. Your ticket includes admission and unlimited food and non alcoholic beverages. So, going into the event, what were you expecting?
Okay, so before, I never heard of it until you told me that we had tickets to go to this event. So I didn't know what it was. But when you told me Orlando Informer, I thought it was like a meeting, like a conference where because we know the Epic Universe is coming up. So
Yeah.
I thought that this was like a preview event for that. So when you like were going to the Orlando Informer, I was thinking we were going to like a conference room and they were going to show us new rides and stuff, kind of like the D23 thing, I guess,
Oh,
where they
yeah.
sit and they show you trailers and stuff. So that's what I was expecting. And then you showed me you told me a little bit about what it was going to be, but I still didn't understand. And to be fair, I still don't understand. I think it's the name. The name doesn't match the event, because when you think of Orlando Informer, you don't think of just after hours with food, because that's basically what it is, right? Like,
Right.
you go there after hours, the park is closed to regular guests, and they give you unlimited food, snacks,
Mhm.
drinks, non-alcoholic,
Yeah.
and you can also have alcoholic drinks. You can purchase them
Yeah, they're like
separate.
discounted. I
Yeah.
think you get like $5 off. I'm going to say I still don't know what the Orlando Informer is.
Like,
And
somebody said it was a third party. Like, it isn't
right,
Universal.
it's not. So like
I
if
don't
you
know.
can go to their website and they have like lots of different events that take place throughout the year. But I feel like the branding is off because everybody we talked to said they're like, "Well, what is the
Yeah,
Orlando
nobody
Informer?"
was really sure.
Yeah, nobody really knows. But I mean, they have a website and it just talks about like different things that they do. They have different events. I think they have things at like SeaWorld and like not Disney. I
Hmm.
don't think I
No.
didn't see anything on there about Disney. But yeah, so this was an event that I had heard about like years ago and I never had the ability to go
Hmm.
until now. And I'm really glad that we went. We had the best time. We
Yeah.
also, so we did 2 nights. We did Friday and Saturday night. And then we also did the deal where you stay at one of the Universal hotels. And we
Hmm.
stayed at the
Cabana Bay
Cabana Bay
Beach
Beach
Resort.
Resort. I don't know. I cannot say that. I have no idea why. Um, so
Fun
yeah,
fact though, if you are going, make sure you're going to the one in Orlando and not the one in
yes,
Miami,
yes.
because
There's
there's
like
another one with almost similar or almost identical name
yes,
in Miami.
Cabana Beach Resort is
Cabana
some,
Beach Bay Resort or
yeah.
Cabana Bay Beach
Just
Resort.
type in Universal first is the takeaway.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, so we went both nights, and so Friday night the event started at 8,
Hmm.
and it went until, or wait, did it start at 9 or 8?
No, it started early on Friday, right?
Yeah, so it started at 8.
I want
I
to say
think.
it started at 7 on Friday, and then
No,
on Saturday it started at 8.
that's not right.
I don't know.
So on Friday, the Islands of Adventure would close for daytime guests at 7 p.m. And
Sounds right.
then the meetup would conclude at 12:30 a.m. And then on Saturday, at the park closed at 8 p.m. to guests, and then it was open until 1:30. But you have access to the park anytime after 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, okay, so the first day, so Friday we flew in, we got to the hotel at like noon.
Yeah.
We were able to check in and get our
Hmm.
room that did not have water
Yes.
with no warning. So, when we got to the hotel, I was shocked to find that our room was ready.
Yes.
And they said, "Oh, would you like to have a room that is in the Americana building that is closest to the lobby?"
Such
And
convenient location.
yeah, and we
Yeah.
said, "Absolutely, we would. That sounds amazing." And then we got into the room and there was no water.
Anywhere in the
No.
building.
And then we called to the front desk and I said, "Hey, we don't have any running water." And they said, "Yes, we are aware of that problem and we have no idea how long it's going to last."
Yes.
But luckily for us, we did eventually get running water after
Yes.
like 2 or 3 hours.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
So
that's a
that was
plus.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
It was
fine.
just a funny introduction to the event. Is
Yeah.
no running water.
Yeah. And then around 4:30 we took a bus, a shuttle that is free
Hmm.
from Cabana Bay Resort to the Universal City Walk area. And then we walked over towards Universal Studios Park. So there's two parks,
Hmm.
Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. And then you go through this like secret
I
passageway.
will say before you go on
Yeah.
to that little trick that we didn't learn until the very last hours or so that we were there. If you want, instead of taking the bus, because you take the bus, then you have to
Mm.
walk through City Walk, through security, and then through. Well, first you take the bus, you go through security, and you have to walk all the way through City Walk to get to the park.
Yeah.
But if you walk across the street to the Sapphire Falls Hotel,
Yeah.
you just go down one set of stairs and you take a boat
Yeah.
that takes you directly in front of the parks.
Yeah. And
So
you
if you're
go,
exhausted, just take
yeah.
the boat.
And you go through security and it's like 2 seconds
Yeah.
because they have security at the boat landing.
Yeah.
So you can literally just walk
Skip the
through.
line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then get on a boat. Yeah. Hindsight's 2020. I do wish that we did that.
Yeah. Also, I don't even know if you have to be staying. You can just walk through. So if you can park at the hotel.
Oh, but then you have to pay. Well, you have to pay for parking no matter what.
But. Well, either way. But yes,
Yeah.
continue.
Yeah. So that would be a life hack. If you're staying at Cabana Bay or
any of the ones close to it.
Yeah, any of the hotels that are close, taking the boat over will be a lot quicker than taking a bus.
The bus, yeah.
And then going through security with a line and then walking like a half mile until you can get to the section. So yeah, we walked up and the check-in was right next to the Hard Rock Cafe. And we went through this like little secret passageway. It takes you into one of the sound stages where
Soundstage 21.
Was it 21?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. It takes you through, you check in one of the sound stages, and then you take another walkway over to another sound stage where they have provided snacks and cookies and music. There was some fake snow, which was really cute. They had like pretzels, mac and cheese, hot dogs, cookies. Oh, those cookies were so good. Yes,
those cookies were very good.
The cookies were they're sugar cookies. They were blue. They were very yummy. What else did they have? Oh, they had like
they had nachos. They had some type of soup.
They had two soups.
Yeah.
They had a harvest butternut squash soup, which was delicious. And then I don't remember what the other one was.
I don't know. And then they had mac and cheese.
Yes,
and
the
then
mac and
some
cheese
vegan
was good.
thing.
They had a vegan pot pie, which was not great.
And then I remember you asked for the vegan pie and mac and cheese.
Oh yeah.
And then they put them in the same thing, which was kind of funny to me because for those who don't know, mac and cheese is not at all vegan.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the other like if I was vegan and that happened, I would be so mad.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't really make sense. And also, I don't feel like they did a good job of explaining what was in each
Hmm.
food. Like they had signs to say like this is mac and cheese, this is
Yeah, but
vegan pot
there
pie.
was there was signage there, but there was also in the soundstage maybe 1,000 to 2,000 people, so you can never really stop and read the signs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was not very good signage to say like this is the line for
Hmm.
vegan pot pie
Yeah.
or
And
whatever.
then also, I did find out. I know before you said like it was a limited ticket event, so I did find out from one of the workers that they limit the sales to 6,000 people
Mm,
across both days.
yeah.
Yeah. So there'll never be more than 6,000 people in the parks, across both parks, across both days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the soundstage, it was very crowded and they
Extremely.
didn't have like any seating. So there's
Yeah.
just random people sitting on the
There
floor.
was, I would say, like six of those standing like cocktail hour tables,
Right.
but that was it. That was the only. There was about
Yeah.
six of those tables, and then there was a small stage with live music,
Yes.
but there was no seating areas or like
Right.
lounging areas in that area at all.
It was also very dark.
Hmm.
They had some like
I guess it was supposed to be
ambient.
moody. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was very dark in
Yeah,
there. And
yeah.
so it was kind of hard to see
Hmm.
what there was available.
Yeah.
And they had signs that said like this is gluten friendly or this is vegetarian or whatever. But yeah, I didn't see any signs that said like what specifically was in the food. For example, in
No.
that vegan pot pie thing, there was a wild amount of mushrooms.
Hmm. Oh
And I
no.
don't like
Yeah.
mushrooms. But if I know a lot of people are allergic to mushrooms, so
Hmm.
I that's what was going through my mind
Right.
was like if I had a kid who was allergic to mushrooms and then we're there's no sign
Right. That
saying
this is all mushrooms.
yeah.
Yeah.
They also had like free sodas available. They had sodas,
Water.
water, and then they had a section for alcoholic beverages, which were discounted.
Hmm.
It wasn't like a full price.
Right.
And that area was open from 3 to 8 p.m.
Hmm.
So you have to check in within that window. But the check in process was like, it took minutes.
Yeah.
For the amount of people that they were shuffling through the area, I
Hmm.
was shocked by it took like a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And everybody was so nice and friendly. They had workers showing you from the parking lot all the way to where the actual
Hmm.
like soundstage where the check-in area was that helped direct you
Yeah.
and answer any questions that you might
I would
have.
say they probably had about 20 to 30 check-in personnel, and the check-in process itself maybe took 2 minutes
Yeah, it
per
was very
person.
efficient.
Yeah, or per group rather,
Hmm.
because there was more groups. There was people of larger groups, and you just have to say it once per group. So it was very good check-in process. I've been to other events where the check-in is arduous and agonizing, and they had
Yeah,
all the rope off lines,
right.
but there was never a line for the check-in. That's how they were doing it very quickly.
Yeah. And we saw a lot of people who were in the motorized wheelchair,
Hmm.
and they did a good job of helping get them through the
Yeah.
line as well
Hmm.
and having the party stick together
Right.
and getting them into a area where they could check in where they weren't going to be kind of in
Hmm.
weaving in and out of people and that
Right.
type of thing. So I thought that they did a really great job of that. Um yeah, the food was okay.
I would say the food. So, I mean, as you know, I'm not a huge theme park food person because it's so hit and miss. The food, the first night. So the first night we had.
Oh wait, no, I was just talking about inside that sound stage.
Oh, okay, yeah,
We're still talking about that.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have nothing to say because I didn't eat any of the food in the soundstage.
You didn't eat any of it.
No, because
I
I was saving myself for the food on the actual event floor.
right. I think that what is important to note is that it's nice that they have the option of getting food because like we said, you can get into the parks as early as 5 p.m. However, the first restaurant doesn't open until the first night it opened at 7 where you could get the included food.
Hmm.
The second night it opened at 8 where you could get the included food.
I would say before you move on, I know you can get into the parks at 5, or
Yeah.
yeah, But I say don't even bother going until the event starts. What I would say you do is you check in and then you go hang out in City Walk
Mm,
and maybe hang out there until the event starts and then you go back or a little bit before the event starts. Because when we went in, we still like we were like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but the lines were still in 110 minutes, 100 and
yeah,
whatever minutes. But as soon as the event starts, all the lines are a ride now or
right.
15-minute maximum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that there was so many people in the park. And again, we went in November where the in general the lines are a lot less than what they would be in the height of summer. They're kind of like during the off time a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, but for example, the Troller coaster in Universal Studios, that was like what? It was like a 40-minute wait or
Yeah,
something.
45 minutes. And
Yeah.
then the Dr. Seuss ABC train.
Yeah, that was like an hour
Yeah.
wait. Yeah, that was crazy. So you can definitely take your time. You
Mm-hmm.
don't, unless, I think that the only plus is if they had been doing like a parade.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when we were there was no parades going on, but if they had a parade happening or something that you could only, there's certain stores that are only available
Mm-hmm.
during the normal business hours of the park. So those would be good things to do. Like we were able to see the Wicked themed
Yeah. The pop-up
store.
shop or whatever.
Yeah.
I would say for me, overall, like I wish there was more exclusivity in the event.
Mm.
Because I didn't feel like there was outside of, no waits and free food, which I guess are both good perks. Like what else was the draw of the event?
Well, on the second night, the I think that he was meeting both nights, but the Grinch, the
Mm-hmm.
Jim Carrey version, he had
Yes.
a meet and greet, and apparently, look, guys, we were new to this. We had no idea that apparently people wait up to 4 hours to meet
Yeah.
the Grinch, and we just happened to be in the area. We thought we were in line for food, but we were in line for the Grinch.
And we insulted some people.
Yes, there was some vloggers in front of us, and they were like,
You need to sit and
you
wait to
yeah
talk to
we're
this Grinch.
yeah, they were like, no, you have no idea, you're
Yeah.
in the prime position right now.
And we said,
And
no
we were like,
thanks. I'm hungry.
yeah, I said no, I'd rather eat at Circus McGurkus,
Yes.
thanks. But um so yeah, and then they had like the snowman walking around, which is kind of
Mm-hmm.
cool. Churro, which is the Orlando Informer bird.
Oh, it looked like a skinny Duolingo bird to me.
It does look like a
Yeah.
Duolingo bird. Yeah, he was doing a meet and greet and walking around.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did they have?
I
Oh, I saw
I
some
saw some
minions.
Smurfs, not Smurfs, trolls.
Oh, you saw
I
trolls?
saw a troll and I saw a minion.
Yeah, I saw some minions at
Mm-hmm.
one point. That was
Yeah,
kind of cool.
yeah.
In the Islands of Adventure Park, were they doing any meet and greets?
I didn't see a single character over there.
Well, besides the Grinch, he was in
Well,
Dr.
yeah,
Seuss
but
Land.
other than that, I didn't see
Oh, wait,
anybody else.
did we see Spider-Man, or was that when the park was still open?
I think the park was still open when we saw Spider-Man.
Mm.
Yeah.
So they didn't have a ton of character meet
No.
and greets. But if you are interested in meeting certain
If you
characters,
want to meet
like,
the Grinch,
yes,
then this is the event to do it. Because
yes,
because we got in line maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes. We accidentally got
right,
in line 10 minutes before
yeah,
the Grinch showed up. But once the Grinch was out, I remember we turned around and the line was massive.
yes. So
So
get there early.
people still, after hours, want to see the Grinch.
Yeah,
And we were too hungry to be bothered.
right.
But, and then, because there was a girl in front of us who was in line to meet the Grinch. She met him, and then we saw her again, maybe like 20 minutes
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah,
So I guess he gives you good time with each person, but
yeah,
it's still a high ticket event
yeah.
or
She
a high
said that.
priority event.
Yeah, she said that it was like between a minute and 50 seconds
Yeah,
per person.
yeah.
So I think for as far as a character meet and greet goes, I think that that's a pretty good amount of time.
I don't know. I've never done one.
It's not really my jam either,
Yeah.
but it was cool to see him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I didn't want to interact with him,
Right,
but
at all. No.
seeing him from afar was
Yeah.
that was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we did almost all of the rides
Mm-hmm.
on both nights.
Right.
Although if you're there just for the rides, especially if you're there for like the big rides, like the Hagrid's
Mm-hmm.
magical something,
Motorcycle, I don't
the
know.
motorcycle
Yeah,
thing.
Hagrid's ride.
Yeah, the Hagrid's ride, the line was better than
Mm-hmm.
normal, but it was still like about like a 40 to 45 minute
Yeah,
late wait for the majority of the night.
yeah.
At one point it did go on to like a walk on, some of the
Mm-hmm.
people had said. I waited 15 minutes in the standby or the single rider line when I
Yeah,
went.
yeah.
And yeah, it was worth it. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Of note, that ride is not um how do I say it? Like that ride is not for all people of shapes and
So
sizes.
for reference, I tried to sit in the tester seats. For the sidecar, my leg was too tall to even move the lap bar. And then for the actual motorcycle section,
Well, how
my
tall are
feet.
you? That's
So
important.
I'm 6'4",
Yeah,
and I wear a size either 12 to 13 shoe,
yeah,
and my feet were too big for the motorcycle part. So I was attempted it, and it was a no go.
yeah,
So just know that when you are going to these rides, it's just you might not mathematically vibe with the restraints. These are for smaller people.
yeah. I would say if there is an option as a seat tester in the
Hmm.
front of the line, try it if
Yeah.
you are a taller or a bigger person,
Hmm.
because not all the rides are. One, if you're handicapped, this ride is
It's not for you.
definitely not for you. And I was in the single rider line, and there was a gentleman who I was paired with, and he had like one of those cast boots on his legs, and so he was going to try to do the motorbike, and he was like very excited about it. He'd been waiting 45 minutes. And again, that was compared, I waited for like 15 minutes. And so he was all excited about it. The ride, when you walk up to it, it's a moving
Moving walkway.
walkway.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of move in quickly. And with his boot, he like sat in there, but the ride lap bar, it wouldn't close because his boot was in the way.
Hmm.
And so then they had to stop the entire ride. And again,
Hmm.
this man had just been waiting for 40 minutes in this line,
Yeah.
and he couldn't ride.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad. Like, I mean, for me, it was good because then I got to go on the motorbike
Hmm.
instead of the sidecar.
Right.
But I felt so bad for
Yeah.
him. So
Yeah.
definitely test out the seat if you are.
Always use the tester seats, even if you're pretty sure you'll make it. I
Yeah,
say just to save yourself the time, because I would hate to wait an hour and 10 minutes just to be told
yeah,
sorry, you can't do it.
right.
So I would say always use the tester seats unless you've ridden the ride before and you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's a really good takeaway. And a lot of the rides are like that.
Yeah.
Even like the Velocicoaster, which
Hmm.
that ride is amazing, but that one is it goes over your head, but it's not necessarily a
Shoulder harness.
shoulder harness. It's a
Hmm.
little bit different. But even with that, I was seeing that there was people who were having issues with like
Yeah.
the mobility, getting their legs in and
Hmm.
that type of thing. So yet again, tester seat.
Yes.
Try the tester
Try the
seat.
testers. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it would be such a shame, especially for those two rides, because the waits can be up to 120 minutes.
Right.
So imagine waiting for 2 hours just to find out that you can't fit in that
Yeah.
ride, and they're not going to
Devastating.
give you like
Anything.
anything.
Yeah.
They're just going to be like,
Give you a pat on the shoulder and tell you
yeah,
to here's
yeah,
the exit. Yeah.
yeah. So be aware of that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so what was on the first night, what was the first food item that we had? Do you remember?
So the first night,
Oh, it was in Harry Potter World.
yeah, I think we went straight to Harry Potter,
Yeah.
and I don't think we had any of the food there because it was like the corned beef and hash.
Yeah, so we went the first night we were in Universal Studios for the
Hmm.
majority of the event, and we started in Diagon Alley, and they had the is it the three broomsticks
I
in that
think
park?
so.
Um, so they have that part, or is it the Leaky Cauldron?
One of the two.
Yes.
I think it's a leaky cauldron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went to the Leaky Cauldron. They had a shepherd's pie
Yeah.
situation.
Hmm.
And then they had a weird pea salad.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that did not look appetizing.
No,
And then one of our friends at the event, they confirmed that it was
yeah,
not good. They
not
said
good.
they took one bite and that was it for them. They had all of the normal drinks,
hmm
like the frozen beer, frozen butter beer, the cold butter beer, pumpkin juice.
Right.
They had a fizzy mint drink that
hmm
was delicious. It had boba in it, and that was so good.
Yeah.
But the highlight was the hot butter beer.
Yes.
That
Which
was
is actually hot butter. Like it's not
hot.
warm. It's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I burned my tongue the
Yeah.
first night because I thought it was just gonna be like a warmed drink.
Right.
No, it's like boiling butterbeer. Like they microwave. I don't know how they prepare, but it's
I don't
a
know.
boiling hot water in but or not water, but still, you know what I mean. The drink is
Yeah.
boiling hot.
That was so good.
Yeah, it was very good. It was my favorite.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
delicious. We had a lot of hot butter beer
hmm
over the
I think on the
2 days.
first night we had a lot of snacks.
Yeah.
On the second night we had a lot of food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is they have the ice cream store that's in Diagon Alley.
hmm
They had all of the flavors of ice cream laid out on top of the counter.
Yeah.
So you could go through and have like the butterbeer one. They had like a hot spicy chocolate.
Oh
I forgot
yes.
what they called that one.
hmm
They had a couple normal flavors, right? They had like
Yeah.
vanilla and chocolate
Chocolate.
and a strawberry, I think,
I think
something like
so.
that.
Yeah.
So you're able to try all of the ice cream flavors. And yet again, the butterbeer one to me that stole the show. It was
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I liked the butterbeer the most of all the flavors.
Yeah, and you can just walk up and the people are so nice.
hmm
They're really helpful. When the event first started, the hot butter beer wasn't out, and I just asked. I said, "Hey, do you guys have any of the hot butter beer?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, that's fine. We'll make you a cup right now." And
Yeah.
so everybody was just very nice and
hmm
friendly.
hmm
Um, but yeah, the leaky cauldron, the food there was not my favorite.
No. And then we also ate at the Minions Cafe,
Oh gosh.
which it was just like salt on bread.
So, and again, I went into this event knowing very little,
hmm
but I assumed that they were going to have some of the food that they serve during normal operating hours,
Right.
but in snack form.
hmm
They did not.
No.
So we've eaten at the Minion Cafe before, and there's a lot of food there that we've loved,
Right.
but they did not have any of it.
No, they had some weird. So it was like a steak and cheese slider,
Right.
but the steak was like salted to high heaven.
It was like steakum.
Yeah, it was
yeah.
not real steak. And then the
Yeah.
cheese itself was not real cheese.
It was like bag cheese.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I'm a fan of. But
It was like the bad bag nacho cheese.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was salt was the only thing I had of like
The only thing I could taste on that
Yeah.
was salt.
They did have like a salad option.
Yeah.
And then what else did they have there?
I don't remember because all I got was the steak and cheese sliders.
Yeah, I would not recommend that.
No.
I didn't think that the food from that area was really
Mm-mm.
great. They also had the Richter Burger
Mm.
restaurant
Yeah.
that was open. They had and the burgers were
They were
themed.
burgers. They
They
were
were theme
yeah.
park burgers.
They're not gonna blow your mind, but they'll put
Yeah.
food in your belly.
Yes, nothing
Yeah.
more, nothing less. The fries were okay at best. There were nothing to write home about. They were
Right.
just standard fries.
Yeah. Yeah.
What else did we eat in that park? None of the DreamWorks places were open.
Yeah, no, DreamWorks, that area closed early.
Yeah.
I think so, like I was telling you, the Harry Potter is the big draw of Universal. And I think they knew that because it felt as though like the decorations were all up at Harry Potter. Harry Potter was
Yeah.
all fully done already.
Yeah.
And it was even on both sides of the park. So Universal and Islands of Adventure, like Harry Potter was the main place that you saw people as well.
Yeah.
And so, they had all their food offerings open and ready. All their stores were open and ready. But other parts of the park looked kind of more closed, like the Universal area, or
Yeah.
not, sorry, the DreamWorks area seemed closed.
Yeah.
Like they had the roller coaster, but that was all.
Yeah, I thought that they would maybe there was some character meet and greets that happened after we left. Like,
Well, no, because you left, and because I remember for a moment we got split up,
right.
and I went back there, and they had completely closed the area down, like
Really?
maybe 20 minutes. Because I was walking
Huh.
through there, and she was saying like, yeah, they had locked up the Pinocchio's area, the
Mm,
Kung Fu Panda area was completely roped off, and they had security like beckoning people out of the area. Yeah, so that
interesting.
whole area was closing out. And I think even the SpongeBob store was closing down as well.
Oh, huh.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting. Yeah, and then I think we didn't try any of the food in the Simpsons land.
No,
I don't know what was open there
I
though.
mean it looked
Maybe
pretty
Moe's.
vibrant
Yeah.
over in the Simpsons area, but I mean maybe that was just the colors of there. Although there was a few of the restaurants that I saw were closed as well, like the B Nachos or whatever it was
Oh, yeah,
that
that
was
was close.
closed,
Yeah, so
and some
not
other
all of the
stuff.
places are open,
No.
but in Universal Studios, there was an I think it was Luigi's, and then Finnegan's, which
Mm-hmm.
is like pub style
Right.
food.
Yeah.
Richter Burger, that was open, and then I think there was another La Bamba's
Mm-hmm.
that was open, and we
Mm-hmm.
did not get to go in there. I'm not
No.
sure what they
No.
had, but yeah, they had a good amount of food.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not all of it. I would say that the highlights for me were the Dr. Seuss land food
Yeah. The food over there
and
was great.
yeah, the Harry Potter snacks, I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
say. Like
Although, so
the
I did
treats.
have the fish and chips and some of the other stuff
Oh, at
at
the Three Broomsticks?
no when we went over to Islands of Adventure,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hogsmeade.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did have the food there, and I would say, so I had two servings of fish and chips.
Mm.
The first set of the fish and chips tasted like undercooked, the
Oh.
fish, but the second set came out perfectly.
Huh.
So I was happy with that. And then I had a
Interesting.
bunch of butterbeer and stuff. This is while you were riding the
Yeah.
Hagrid's cart, and I, as I said before, physically unable to get on. So I
Right.
had myself a little side adventure, ate some food, had some snacks. Ooh, and then the apple pie. They had like
That was good.
personal sized apple pies, which were really good.
Yeah, it was like
Um,
an apple pie with like a cinnamon streusel crust on top
mhm.
with a vanilla icing
Yeah,
glaze,
yeah.
and that was
Hmm.
delicious. Like, I can't say enough
Right.
good things about that. That was really good.
Yeah. So, and the food there was really good. The theming there was really good. And as I was telling you, I think Hogwarts Castle is more impressive than Cinderella's Castle.
Mm,
And I don't know if maybe it's just because, so in Cinderella's Castle in Florida, it's kind of just like a walkthrough, right? Like
yeah,
there's nothing. The one in France, you can actually go
yeah,
around and interact with, but the one in Florida is just like a pathway.
right.
So neither of them really have interactability, the Hogwarts Castle or the Cinderella's Castle, although Hogwarts Castle is a ride. There's a
Yeah.
ride inside of it.
And you do go through it. Like, I know
Yeah,
you didn't go on that ride either, but that one you do go through the
yeah.
castle. You get to go through like Dumbledore's office.
Hmm.
Like, the theming is
Yeah.
amazing.
But I think just the overall theming, like you're in Harry Potter's world
Yeah.
and you're looking up to this imposing castle.
Yeah.
And I think that really has that has something to do with it because Cinderella's
Right.
castle is like in the middle of not even a field, just like a concrete pathway.
Right.
There's not much
Yeah.
theming around it. So,
And I think what added to the Hogwarts castle is that we were there during the winter meetup where
mhm.
it was themed. It had snow
Snow,
on
yeah.
it. It was a projection.
Hmm.
So they have like snow and light projections on the castle. And they also had like throughout the night, I think they had like four of the I forgot the name of it. It's like a
The shows
the like
on,
light show.
yeah, I was gonna say I like that as well. That
That was really
is,
cool.
do they usually do it that often?
I I don't know.
Because with Disney, like you get the one show at the end of the night, right?
Right.
But over there, I don't know if maybe this is just for the event or if they usually do it, but they did the Hogwarts like light show
Mm,
maybe once an hour, maybe,
yeah.
and each one of those come accumulates with some fireworks.
Yeah.
So they did that pretty often, which I liked.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
cool. And they did a great job. The projection mapping, it
Hmm.
looks so amazing. It really feels like you're immersed in the world.
Yeah.
And then they also had some singing in both parks.
Yeah. So they have the like some stage where people dressed as students will come out and sing
Yeah.
and do tricks and stuff like that. But we didn't
And it
really
was, yeah,
sit and watch those.
it was holiday themed
Yeah,
though. And
yeah,
they sounded really
yeah.
good.
They sounded good, but we were running around looking for snacks.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I would say that the how immersive Harry Potter world is,
hmm
it's
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah. And then we went over to Jurassic Park
Yeah.
Land.
Which fun fact? If you need a Monster Energy drink,
Hmm.
the watering hole is the only place that will sell you one there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The zero sugar
Zero sugars.
specifically.
Yes.
But yeah, we went there. We also ate at the Burger Digs
hmm
restaurant.
hmm
And yet again, the burger was just a
Just a
burger,
burger.
just a
Yeah.
theme park burger, no more, no less. Like that was it.
Right.
Um, and I also, back to the Harry Potter section real quick, that is where the majority of the people were.
Oh
So
yeah.
if there was a total of 6,000 people there,
Yeah.
I would say that a good percentage of the people
Were
were
in
in the
Harry
Harry
Potter.
Potter
Yeah,
section.
on both sides of the park. It was
Yeah.
mostly you could walk around freely. There were some streets that we went on
Yeah, like
that
in New
were
York.
empty. Like
Yeah.
there was nobody else there.
Yeah.
But you got to Harry Potter and it was full.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like the majority of the rides were walk on
hmm
everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like really the Green Gots ride, there was a little bit of a line.
hmm
The Velocicoaster, there was a little bit of a line.
Right.
And then what was the other one? Oh, the one like the Forbidden Journey
hmm
into the castle.
Yeah.
Like those three have like a small line, but pretty much every other ride,
It was
I
walk
mean,
on.
yeah, it was a walk
In
on.
fact, there was some rides where it felt like there was only us on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So.
Like when we went on the Kong one,
hmm
yeah, it felt like
Yeah.
there was like
And
nobody
then
else
when we
there.
were in the Jimmy Fallon building, we
Yeah,
didn't see anybody until we got to the ride. And then
yeah,
there was maybe five other people there. So that was
yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was really cool. So, yeah, I would say like if you want quick access to all of the rides,
hmm
like this is
Yeah.
definitely an event.
Yeah.
So, oh, let's see what else. We went to the Toon Landing area
hmm
in in Islands of Adventure.
hmm
And yet again, I don't think that any of the rides were open over there, right?
No, no.
Yeah, they have like a couple water rides, those were closed.
hmm
Then in the Marvel section, I think all of the rides were open there. They had the Hulk coaster, but yet
hmm
again, the Hulk was a walk on
Yeah.
too. Um, they had the Spider-Man 3D ride there.
hmm
Um, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like all the rides were open. Although we did the Minion ride, the Minion like moving
Yeah.
walkaway experience. I don't know if you call it a ride, but I don't think either of our guns were working.
Right.
So we were just sliding through uh assault on your senses because it was just lights and sounds and
Yeah.
yelling, and we were just like, well, this is fun.
Yeah. And like it is funny that our guns weren't working because that's one of the newer rides.
Mm.
I think that opened
They even have
like
souvenirs of the guns that you could buy. And I was like,
right.
I'm not gonna buy this, it doesn't work either.
Yeah. Maybe if we had the app that went along with it,
Maybe. I don't
maybe
know.
that it would have like connected differently,
Yeah.
but I wasn't.
But you shouldn't need an app to be able to do a ride. Like what are
Agreed.
kids aren't gonna have a phone to use an app for a ride, so it should just work the first time. But other than that, I mean, that was if that was your biggest complaint, then you
Yeah.
had a good time because even like the staff was friendly. Even at 1 o'clock when we were
Yeah.
getting snacks, the staff was still like chipper and
Yeah.
being friendly and funny, and the parks were clean and everything was good, and the transportation staff were helpful. And
Yeah.
I remember because by the end of the second night, I had done 30,000 steps,
Yeah.
and I was a little tired.
Right.
And we were trying to just get back, and then you had gotten a little bit in front of me, and you had gotten on the bus first.
Yeah.
And the bus driver saw me, and he was like, "Don't worry, slow down. You can. I'm not gonna leave you." So that was nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall it was a good time. It's a good after hours event.
Yeah. Another snack that we had that was really good was the potato knishes
Oh
from the
yes,
Marvel snack
yes,
cart.
that was
Oof, those were so good. It was like
yes.
some like puff pastry with like potato and cheese inside of
Mm-hmm.
it, served with sour cream, and that
Yes.
was amazing. I also was amazed by like all of the snack carts. Like you can just walk up and get as many drinks, like
Right.
soda, water. We're not really soda
Mm-mm.
drinkers, so we didn't partake in any of that, but we did get extra bottles of water
Lots
to
of
like
water.
bring home with us. And
Yeah.
like you can, if you have like little baggies and
Yeah.
snack boxes, like you can bring the stuff home with
Mm-hmm.
you,
Yeah.
like, or bags of chips. Like we got
Right.
like a bunch of sun chips to like snack on throughout the next
Mm-hmm.
day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like a really great event.
Yeah.
So price wise,
Yes.
okay, so the tickets were, so like I said, we did two nights, and it was $420 per person for the 2 night after event. But that does sound like a lot of money. However, I did some little like pricing out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to get two days of the park where you could go to both like park hopper passes, so
Mm-hmm.
that's like exactly what we had during a similar time, then it would have been, oh, like it would have been around the same amount. It would have been $450 per person.
Right.
Of note, they do like 4 or 5 meetups per year, and each one has like a couple of weekends. So if you go to orlandoinformer.com, you can get more information on the event and see if it's right for you.
Mm-hmm.
But best and worst of the event.
I would say there was not really a worst. Everything was good. The food, some of the food was hit or miss, but I wouldn't say that was a worst thing. Um, I think for me, the best was just the less people.
Yeah,
So you could actually experience the areas and see like little details of stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to see just because there'd be crowds of people around. And like you got to go into the Wicked store and
yeah,
they had the dresses and stuff, and you got to really look and see the detailing in that.
yeah,
Um, I would say maybe the worst is that if you want to meet certain characters, they may not be there,
right.
or certain areas may be closed down. So if you really want to, if you're not going there for Harry Potter, then you might want to do a little bit more digging to make sure like other things available. Although in Harry Potter they didn't have the what is it, the Death Eaters?
Yeah, but that's only during Halloween
Yeah,
Horror
but I
Nights.
mean, if you're thinking like maybe they're gonna have them there, they're not.
Yeah,
So there's that. But outside of that, like we said, most of the rides are walk on or 15-minute wait. So if you have one that you want to ride over and over all night, you're probably gonna be able to do that with ease. Free food, free snacks, snacks that you can take home with you that later that night. So
mm-hmm.
that was good. And then if you're staying in the hotels, you know, you get the transportation included, which is nice.
Yeah.
So all in all, I would say I recommend the event. There wasn't any really bad. It was mostly all good. What about you?
Yeah, I would say I want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
So right off the bat, like I did it this time, I would definitely recommend this event to anybody who wants to go to the Universal parks and like wants to have a more unique experience
Mm-hmm.
and be able to experience more of the rides without having to wait
Yeah.
like
Now,
in as long of a
quick
line.
question, because I know you said it was about $400. Was that per night? So 200 per night?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was $420
All
per
told.
person
Right.
for one person for two
Okay.
nights.
Okay. Yeah, because they do have a one night ticket as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you can swing it, I recommend doing the 2 nights because
Yeah.
one, you can focus on one park, relax, enjoy it without having to rush over to the other one. Even though, I mean, it's a long event, right? It's from
Yeah, it's
7
4
to
hours.
1 or something
Yeah.
like that. So you get a lot of time. But if you really want to focus on one park and then really enjoy it, and then the next night you go to the other park and really enjoy that,
Yeah.
then I would say do that because
Yeah.
you don't really have to rush around and not waste time, but maybe lose time on something that you might want to do because you have to go do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that this event is for a few different people. One, if you're somebody who just wants to get through as many rides as possible,
Mm-hmm.
then this event is for you,
Yeah.
because you could probably realistically you could probably do every single ride in
Yeah.
one
Yeah,
night.
you could.
If but you'd like, I
If
hope
that
you're
was
not
your
a
focus.
yeah, if
Yeah.
that was your focus and you didn't want to like look at anything else or eat
Hmm.
any of the food, or like, you could probably do every single thing, but you
Yeah.
would be walking 30,000 steps or
Actually,
something.
my biggest complaint,
Yeah.
now that I think about it, was the Hogwarts Express, but not from what you're thinking. So if you're using the Hogwarts Express train from Universal Studios over to the other side, it's a very seamless, like, short walk on, right?
Yeah.
But if you're using the Hogwarts Express from Alice Adventures
Hogsmeade, yeah.
to the other to Universal Studios, they for some reason didn't streamline the walking path.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've ever gone down there, but there's a lot of switchbacks, and I guess the line is able to accommodate for maybe like a 2 hour wait.
Yeah.
But when it's empty
Yeah.
and you're doing like, you walk down and you switch back and you walk up and you switch, I think we did about 40 turns or 50 turns
Yeah.
of just walking up and down the same path before we actually got
Yeah.
to the train station itself.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know why they didn't just like open up the main
Yeah,
path.
there's a
That
main
was
path
weird.
that goes directly. Maybe 20 steps.
Yeah.
If they open the main path, instead we maybe did about, I say we did 5,000 steps.
I would say that the walk to get to the train was longer than the train ride itself. Like,
Absolutely, it
it
was.
was crazy.
Yeah,
So that was definitely interesting.
yeah,
For me, the best is the experience of enjoying the parks when there's a lot less people in the parks, because I've been to Universal Studios several times, and every time you're in Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley, it's like you are shoulder to shoulder with people,
yeah.
and so that takes a little bit of the magic
Hmm.
out. And then just being able to like enjoy the parks are so beautiful, and I think that when you're going through the parks during the daytime, you overlook a lot of the beauty and the intricate details,
Right.
just because you're like, oh, we have to get to this ride by a certain time, or
Hmm.
the wait is so long that we have to skip over this. So just being able to take your time and really getting to see like we were able to like look at the windows,
Right.
because each window there's like Easter eggs from
Yeah.
other rides and different things, or there's just so much detail that you
Hmm.
could easily overlook.
When we were there, I saw a lot of kids, and I was wondering at first, I was like, why would you bring your kids to this? But then I think about, if this was your only chance to take your kid to an amusement or whatever,
Yeah.
a theme park, this would absolutely be the best time to do it because,
Yeah.
one, all the rides are walk on.
Right.
Two, the bathrooms are empty, so if you need to run your kids to the bathroom, you're not
Yeah.
waiting in line. Three, snacks everywhere. So if your
Right.
kid's like, I'm hungry,
Yeah.
okay, here's a churro, here's a
I know.
this, here's a that. Like, this whole thing is set up perfectly for if you had a kid and you want to take them to a theme park. I
Yeah.
would say absolutely this would be the thing to do.
Yeah.
Now, sure, you're not getting the parades or
Yeah.
maybe some
Or
of the
like
other
the
stuff.
nighttime. There's like a nighttime show that's in
Right.
Universal Studios
Hmm.
that they didn't have.
Yeah.
So you are going to miss out on some of the like
Yeah.
normal operating hours events and entertainment. But
But I don't feel like we missed on much really. But then again, I don't think I've ever seen any of the daytime
yeah.
parades. So.
But yet again, like if you're going to be spending if for 2 days of the park, you'd be spending $400 per person,
Hmm.
and that's not even with the express pass
Right.
and not including food.
Hmm.
So if you think about it just in terms of like getting in,
Hmm.
doing the rides quickly, because if you had 2 standard day tickets, you would not be able to get through every ride. There's no way
No.
without the
No.
express
Because I mean,
pass.
when we got there, like I said, we got there one night. The second night we got there, and we went into the park maybe around 5 or 6,
Mm-hmm.
and rides were still at 110 minutes.
Yeah.
And even when I remember we would leave, or we weren't leaving, it was towards the end of the night when people were leaving, and some of the rides were still 90 minutes. Like,
Right.
since the people are already in line, they're not going to kick them out of line.
Yeah.
So the walk on times didn't really start till maybe 30 to 40 minutes after the
Yeah.
event started, just because so many people were in line for things before the park had even closed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like those are all like a lot of things you have to take into consideration. Also, the park is open until 12:30 or 1:30 in
One.
the
Yeah.
morning, depending on which day. So obviously, you can't do this with like really tiny kids because they're
No.
going to need to be in
In
bed
bed.
prior to that. But if you have like an older kid or
Mm-hmm.
somebody that can nap during the day
Right.
to stay awake
Mm-hmm.
during those later hours, then I think that it would definitely
That'd be
be
worth it.
worth it. I would say that the worst would be, yes, there's going to be some things you're missing. There's going to be some areas of the park that's closed. You're not going to get the parades like what we talked about earlier, or some of those like nighttime entertainment shows. That would be probably the main thing. But besides that, I don't really think that there's like a negative because, you know,
Yeah.
you're in the parks, you're
Yeah.
doing the things. So yeah, I would definitely do it again. I would recommend it highly.
Yeah.
And yeah, let us know in the comments below. Have you done this event before? Have you heard of this event? And would you ever consider doing it?
Yeah.
And until next time,
Goodbye.
bye.